Now, I want you to think. When you go to the doctor, okay, when you go to the doctor and you tell the doctor how you feel, what does the doctor do?
We tell them what's the problem of our body, and then they wanna check it, and then they wanna give us the solution.
That's right, but I want you to think, what does the doctor do? Let's say, Dave, you go in and you say, I got a sore throat. What does the doctor do next?
Check.
Right, but let's not say check. What does he do? Be specific. What does she do?
Observe
No, what does she check?
the negative.
Well, the doctor's going to say, your heartbeat to make sure you're alive. Right? Well, they might take your blood pressure, right? Your pulse and your blood pressure. The doctor will say, open your mouth and look inside your mouth. You say, ah. Right? And the doctor looks at your throat. The doctor looks up your nose. Looks in your ears. Takes your temperature. And so, after gathering all this evidence, the doctor gives you a diagnosis and says, you have a sore throat, or you have an ear infection, or you have the flu. You are okay. All right? So, I want you to keep that in mind and approach the way we're reading our books the same way. But we're not doctors. We're not diagnosing an illness. We are analyzing a relationship. Relationships in the book and characters in the book. So instead of taking their temperature and looking down their throats or up their noses, we're analyzing positive and negative sides of the relationship. We are studying how much each person contributes to an issue. We're analyzing who has the power in a relationship. Okay? Today we're adding one more thing to that. We're going to look for characters' traits that may cause clashes. Okay, so we're looking for traits that cause clashes. And we're experts on character traits. We did a whole unit on it, right? A deep study of character. So we need to be thinking about now, what we need to think about is, how might these traits that a character has, how might they contribute to an issue they're having? All right? So to get us thinking about that, we're going to watch a clip from one of my favorite movies in the world. Do you know this movie? Moana. Right, one of my favorites. Do you know why it's one of my favorites? I'm a big fan of The Rock. Do you know The Rock? Dwayne Johnson? He's Maui in here. One of my heroes. You're not a fan of The Rock? Like, you don't like wrestling? Nobody's a wrestling fan? No John Cena fans here? Anyway, we're going to watch about a minute, and I want you to ask yourself, or I'm going to ask you to tell your partner what character traits we see in the two characters, Moana and her father. All right, so in your notebook, write Moana on one side and Dad on the other. Now, as you watch, we're going to watch, you're going to write, and then you're going to talk. Okay? So the first part of the clip is 1 minute and 20 seconds. You do that. You're going to write down the traits you see, and then you're going to share that with your partner. We ready to go?
There's something you need to see. Our traps in the East Lagoon, they're pulling out less and less fish.
Then we'll rotate position numbers.
There's no fish.
Oh. Then we'll fish the far side of the island.
We tried,
The windward side?
and the leeward side, the shallows, the channel. We've tried the whole lagoon. They're just gone.
I won't talk to the council. I'm sure
What
we
if we fish beyond the reef?
No one goes beyond the reef.
I know, but if there are no fish in the lagoon,
Moana,
and there's a whole
we
ocean,
have one rule.
an old rule when there are fish.
A rule that keeps us safe
But Dad-
instead of endangering our people. So you can run right back to the water. Every time I think you're past this. No one goes beyond the reef.
All right, you're writing. What traits do we see in these two characters? As you write, you can tell your partner. Okay, take. Oh wait, what do I got? I got a battery this morning, yesterday. Where'd I put it? Timer. Okay, now you got 20 seconds. Tell the person next to you what you wrote.
And then always has been like, yeah, that is strict and fierce
Okay. Now, what I heard. What I heard is that Moana, she is adventurous. She wants to go beyond the reef. But Dad is fearful, worried. He seems kind of strict, where Moana seems more open-minded. Okay? So we have these traits like adventurous and fearful. We can predict there will be a clash there, right? Because they're kind of opposites. Adventurous and fearful. Right? So we see that these two traits play a role in this conflict. Right? So they're character traits. Right? Are kind of causing this conflict. Right? So we're gonna continue watching and do the same thing. And we'll see if our initial idea shifts at all. Okay? Here we go.
Well, it's not like you said it in front of your dad. Standing on a boat.
Say, go beyond the reef because I want to be on the ocean.
But you still do. He's hard on you because he doesn't get me. Because he was you. Drawn to the ocean, down by the shore. He took a canoe, Moana. He crossed the reef and found an unforgiving sea. Waves like mountains. His best friend begged to be on that boat. Your dad couldn't save him. He's hoping he can save you. sometimes who we wish we were, what we wish we could do. It's just not meant to be.
All right, 30 seconds. I want you can write, you can turn and talk. What do we learn in this second part of the clip? Turn and talk.
Like a justifiable reason to be He's understanding about that he is no pessimist. But now we know how, why he
Okay, so I heard things like, now we know why he's overprotective. Now we know why he's fearful. Okay, so what this shows us, or what this is an example of, is how having the same trait can lead to conflict, just like having an opposite trait can. Right? Because they're both adventurous, or Dad used to be, right? So I got these things up here. This one is traits that oppose each other, right? And the arrow is pointing together, so there's conflict, right? So Moana's adventurous, Dad is careful, fearful, she's open-minded, he's strict. There's conflict here. Conflict. Here, the trait is the same. They both have this strong trait. We can think of two lions. There's conflict. You might think, you may have seen this in your own experience as middle school students. Two students, or two people with the same personalities often don't get along very well. Right? Two people who might say, oh, these people are the same. They're probably not best friends. Right? As you grow up, you'll notice this more. What about this one? So we've got a lion. So we've got this trait, and the other person has the same trait, it's just not as powerful in that person. It's just not as big. How do they get along? Would there be conflict? Duran, you shook your head no. What do you mean?
Seems like small lion could have challenged it.
Right, so he said the smaller lion wouldn't challenge the big one. So we're guessing there's going to be less conflict there. So these two, right, they could go in the same direction, right, without conflict. Right, but we've seen how having character traits that oppose each other can cause conflict. Having the same character traits can cause conflict. Additionally, having different amounts of the same trait may be a way to avoid conflict, right? Or may lead to fewer issues. Okay? So we need to be aware of this as we read, right? So this is another way, another lens, another tool we have to analyze relationships in our books. Okay, so we're weighing relationships for positive and negative sides. We are measuring how much each character is responsible for an issue, how much they contribute. We are looking for clashes of character traits, and we're also measuring power. So these are like our tools to really dig into the characters and into these books and push our thinking a bit further than we have before. Okay? So my task for you now, I want you to think about your books. Okay? And I want to start your thinking about the character traits and how they might cause conflict in the book. So before you talk to each other, what I want you to do right now, I'm going to give you a minute. I'm going to give you a minute. I want you to write down a character's name from your book and then make a list of character traits for that person. Okay? So you're writing a character, 2 characters, 3 characters, plus some traits.
Can we get a book because this research?
Yeah, which book do you need?
Slacker.
Slacker? Are you guys done today? I don't think we have Slacker. They're going to finish today. Did you have a second choice?
The version of the song, so she said get Slacker and then
Yeah, they're going to be done today. Ask her what another choice is. All right, now, you all have a list of characters and their traits. I want you to spend 2 minutes now talking about how the characters fit with each other. So are these traits, can we predict that they'll cause problems? Can we predict that they will be close, they're friends, they'll remain friends? So when we look at this, what predictions can we make about issues that may arise between the characters? Okay? Ready? Eric, what are you going to do? Well, you already wrote down the character traits. What? Discuss what? What about them? Okay, one thing we might try. Think of it like this. You are a matchmaker. Okay? You're a matchmaker. People come to you, and you look at their character traits, and you decide if they should get married. You decide if they should be friends. Okay? So you're going to look at their traits and ask yourself, are they a good match, or will there be problems? That's what I want you to do now. Okay? Stella, what are you going to do? Lucas, what are you going to do?
how does a character match to other people?
Right. Do the characters match? Come on, guys. You're in 6th grade. You do this all the time. Right? I see you writing about it. I find notes about it. You talk about it outside during break. Somebody's dating this person. Somebody's dating this person. They're not a good match. These two are a good match. I'm asking you to make a match. Look at your characters. Do they match or not? If not, why? Okay? Go.
She always
Just think about Harry Potter.
Well,
Give me
Oh.
a minute.
Oh, what? They were supposed to be married, but the fans didn't want to rush it down.
All right, I'm gonna stop you here. Sounds like your conversations are over. Okay, that is fine. I forgot to show you this example in the beginning of the mini lesson, but you guys, you know these characters, right? Are they a good match? No. They've gone through like 10 books in 10 years and killed 100 monsters. And you're saying they're not a good match? What? Can we describe them? Would they be like this group here? They have opposing traits, right? Or they have the same traits, or different amounts of the same traits. How can we describe them? What do you think? Are they similar characters? Do they have similar traits? What do you think? I don't think so. Right? I think they have different traits. But together, they're strong. Right? So Harry and Hermione, they are a little different, right? This relationship's a little different. They have different traits. No, actually. So they have different traits. Okay, there's some conflict, but combined, they make something that is more powerful than either one of them on their own. Right? They're a good team. Right? Because she is very analytical, detail-oriented. She thinks things through. And Harry's kind of more aggressive and adventurous and ready to solve problems without thinking too much, right? So they're a really good team. As you work today, I want you to think about character traits. Okay, what role do the characters' traits play in the issues they're experiencing in their relationships? Okay, you have 20 minutes to read today. Okay, 20 minutes. We're going to come back. I have something to introduce to you at the end of class today. I'll tell you at the end of class. You guys, you can stay here.